guys, welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for being here and watching, supporting. So this is my mom. She passed away coming June 7th will be 4 years, and I miss her dearly. And yesterday my son and I went to her grave. So this is my son, and he needs to get his license, so he needs to practice driving. He already did the written test, and his test is coming up soon, so it was a way to get out and practice. My little one didn't go because I wanted my oldest to drive, and he cannot drive my little one once my little one is in the car. So I had bought these flowers after running an errand the other day, and I came out and there were the lady was selling the this beautiful flowers. So I don't know what happened. I just turned around and I'm like, how much are your flowers? And I ended up purchasing them. And right around the corner is June 7th, where I really wanted to go to the grave. And anyways, prior to the Rona, I've been putting off going to her grave. One of the reasons why too, which you'll see later, is that where her grave is located is kind of like a little cul-de-sac. It's beautiful, but it's secluded, and I don't like going there by myself because it's like, you know, it's kind of not deserted, but lonely, and I don't like being there alone. And most of the time when I can go is when my husband is home, and that's normally the weekend. And by the time he gets home from work, it's kind of late, and we are essential workers. We deal with groceries, so, and food. So he is working right now, so by the time he gets home, you know, he's tired and everything. So I told him, hey, you know, my son needs to drive, or our son needs to drive, so we're gonna have him driving. So this is him driving right here, and you could see us going to the location. So yeah, so anyways, I said to myself, why did I purchase these today when I'm going to go back the 7th? And it's not that where she is far from my home or anything. It's just that, you know, you really, time really can consume our lives. And by the time you turn around, it's like, oh wow, I wanted to do this. Like, I kept putting it off going. And my brother used to live way closer than I did, or than I do, but he ended up relocating farther. So I'm the one that's closest now, and I just want to always have beautiful flowers for her there. I mean, I'm just shooting just a beautiful view of this of where she is. And it's so ironic because we live on a hill, and I live, well, I still talk like it's current, so I'm going to continue it even though it's not. But I live right next door to where I grew up from the 9th grade. And when my mom passed, my dad ended up selling the home and leaving. It's been very, very hard to deal with. Up to this day, it's hard to see people over there. I mean, they're friendly neighbors and everything, so that they're not even an issue. It's just, you know, they put up a fan. The owner actually is an actor, but he rents it out to different people in the industry. And you know, they keep to themselves, they don't bother anything. But it's just so hard because that's one of the homes I've been at the longest in my life. So this is where my mom is, you guys. It's that little cul-de-sac right there, like right there. So I always park coming back out, so if something happens, I always, like, I'm a scary cat, I'm afraid of ghosts and stuff like that. So I'm like, if I've ever the zombie apocalypse, my car's already facing getting the heck out of there. So my son is videotaping me, and I said to myself, I'm gonna have to come back here anyways on the 7th. Why didn't I just wait then? But I don't know what happened. I just just did it. And I'm like, if I keep the flowers, if I don't go, I'll keep the flowers. But then you feel guilty because you know the intention was for buying it to take to her grave. Now she lives, I'm sorry, her grave is uphill, so we walk it at an angle, because sometimes you don't know if it's wet and you could slip in there. So the site, I'm not sure how long they've been open, but I know they recently got open. And so I decided to go visit her, and with my son. So I'm trying, normally when my dad used to live here, he used to take a little brush and clean it up. I don't know why I didn't think about it. So, but you know, I decided to put her picture, and what we paid for that headstone was not what we end up keeping. I ended up We changed it for a lot of reasons, personal reasons, because what was on it was just basic, and people didn't get to know how much my mom impacted people and what she did for people, here and majority of the time in Belize. And so what was on her tombstone was kind of like an insult to her. I mean, in a sense that was just basic about, rest in peace, da da da. And for personal reason, which I'm not ready to share, what was on there, someone was kind of like, she was just a housewife. No, my mother wasn't a housewife. My mother was a business person. She, yes, became a housewife, but she was a seamstress at home. She had customers, she has clients. She had clients, and then when my dad decided to do, because my dad worked with a company, but when he decided to open his business, my mom put her future aside, or put her what she liked aside to help support him. So all my life, when my dad my dad has his bachelor's from Canada, and my mom hustle and bustle back in Belize to help. I think, from what I know, he had a scholarship, but there's things, of course, the scholarship don't take care of, and my mom helped with that as well. So that's why we changed the wording on there, because I didn't want that family member to make it seem like my mother was nothing but a housewife, and what they were implying. So and then I'm so glad, like I told my son today, I'm so glad we put her picture on it, because when you go there, you kind of want to see her. And it does, if God forbid, if anyone pass away for you guys, if you can put the extra bucks to put their picture on there, it's so soothing when you go to their gravesite to actually see her picture. And she was very, very smart. I mean, my mother was telling us about being nasty, not us being nasty, but about nastiness. See, my son didn't want to be on camera, but look at this, guys. The view from her site. She's right almost in the middle of everything, just like my mother, always in the the star of everything. And then on top of a hill where she has a beautiful view, like the view we have on our hill. So it's like everything that, from planning her service to now, is just, oh my gosh, it just was, to me, was my mother holding her hands, guiding us through her planning. But yeah, so with her, I'm sorry about this, like my camera refused to rotate it. I mean, my app refused to rotate it. So, but you guys saw it on the video what it looks like. Yeah, but my mother did so much. She helped a lot of people. She she was a giver, and we get that from her. But I think she was too nice, and people would take advantage of her niceness, of her guide, they would request stuff from Belize. Can you send this? Can you send that? She would send it, and nobody knew how my mother had to pay for that stuff. And that's just, she taught about being cleanly, like I was telling you guys. She would let us know from day one. You come in this house, do not dare put your street clothes on your bed. Do not go in your room, put your street clothes. Do not put nothing on your bed. Do not put nothing on the table. Keep your table clean. My mother did not like even putting your purse on the table. Well, I'm the same way. Once I see someone put a purse on the table, it drives me crazy. First of all, it drives me crazy to put on the ground. That's just because they said, you'd be broke if you put your purse on the ground. But on the table, it's just nasty. First of all, you don't know where your purse has been. For me, a lot, like you said, people put their purse on the ground. I don't do that. But you come and put it on your table, you got to eat there. So my mother was teaching us about being clean from day one. So wash your hands. Like they had a grocery store, and I used to help run their grocery store. And my oldest was raised in there up to when we started elementary school. I was showing you my shoes. And this is me. I always take a picture by her grave. Make me remember that I was there. Yeah. And so my son was raised there, and every time after I deal with a customer, I swear I thought my hands would fall off, because I would wash it with soap and water, just because I never know when I needed to grab him. He had a playpen, he had everything in that grocery store. And we had an emergency alarm button, we had machete. This is how far she is from the flat part, and I'm zooming in just to show you where she is to where we have to climb up, and then from the car. Yeah. So she would always instill that in us, be clean, germs are out there. First of all, she don't believe in animals in the house. I still feel like that, just first of all, I'm not an animal person. Hey, we're heading back home. I'm not an animal person, but a lot of people around me are. And when I would go to their home, it's like I can't go in there if there's animals in the house. It's just like my brother had dogs, and I once I was eating and I saw I had to stop eat. Like, I don't know why. I don't believe in cruelty to anything, any animals or anything, but I'm not a pet person. I respect people that are into pets and save pets. Hey, I will have your back. I'm more like I'm more for kids. My platform are more for kids, being abused or guidance or talked to, or because I get that from my parents too. Like in Belize, my parents used to pick up the neighborhood kids, because back then a lot of people don't have transportation, and my dad always had like an old something, because he had a band named Vibration, and so he had a van or a car. I think this was before he had the band, or he had a station wagon, and so we had a television, you guys, and we couldn't even catch anything. All we would hear is snow, and we would hear that's Sesame Street. I think that one, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. Yeah, but we would hear it. We couldn't see it. So, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I wish we could go there and literally sit there and have a picnic, but it's so uphill that I feel like everything will fall down. Yeah. So, she would they would pick up all the kids from our little area, because we're from the city, all the kids from the block that we grew up with. And these are some pictures of my mom, myself, and the boys. Yeah, we picked them up, and everybody go to the river and we swim. And so my parents were doing this from day one, and that's instilled in me. And like I said, if I had like a nonprofit, it would always be geared to be there for kids. I want to say kids from birth to 18, and I don't say you stop at 18, but after 18, most people don't want. Well, I've come across a lot of teenagers that you try to talk to, they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. Like, I would go to Belize and see young girls dropping out of school. I try to talk to them about their future, making mistakes, and how to not regret life when you get older. But they don't want to hear it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. But that's what my platform is. So, and this is my mom in my yard. I mean, if you didn't know, my mother passed away from cancer. She got it 3 times, and the 3rd time they said the chemo wasn't helping anyways, but she just didn't want any more chemo, and she knew the risk. And this is how close I am. We put the gate there so she could come over. They could come over and hang out instead of going all the way out the yard, which is upstairs. Come downstairs. So, and this is when we used to live in Florida, me and my mom. That's my brother to the left, but that's her Buick right there. That was an awesome Buick. And so that Buick brought us all the way from Florida to LA. And I think my sister and my brother got chicken pox on the way, and I got chicken pox when we landed. So I did my nails with her picture on there, and then we did the picture right there for her display picture for at the funeral. And then these are just some pictures when she was in my yard. And this is a picture that whenever I dream of my mom, this is how I see her, you guys. Just like this. Excuse the noise. I'm doing rice at the same time, but I got to cover it up. Yeah, that's how I see my mom. So if you didn't know, my baby right there was born on my mom's birthday. And they share the same birthday. So this year, I did a surprise for her. And it's so hard because we decorated the yard up and then she wanted to go out that day and go to Costco. We were trying to keep her in the house so she didn't see the decoration going on. And this is when we lived in Eagle Rock. That's me and my mama. Yeah, she's so beautiful. I miss her. We would fight all the time, you guys. We would fight. But like my husband would be like, they could be in a grocery store together and they would be fighting with each other. And then a customer come in and they were rude to us and they would, we would be like, who you think you are? Like, like you couldn't mess with each other, So this is when my mom did a video for my YouTube channel. She crocheting, how to crochet. And my son had a spelling bee contest and she was able to make that one. My oldest right there, Derek, he's now 16. And so she would call Drew. So for many years, that's what his name was, Drew, like that. And my dad would still keep it. This is Drew speaking at her funeral. And she was like, he was, her eyeball. I don't think just because, of anything special, other than the fact that he was the youngest baby. And she was a snuggly loving person, you guys, so that's why. And then this is my mom when she was dancing in one of the parties she had. She loved to dance, and that's where I get it from. I would dance, and it's one of her younger picture. Yeah, so Drew is just a snuggly person. He would eat, like he would go over there, right, and I would feed him, and he would go there and ask my mom for food, like right there, ask my mom for food. And my mom would call me, Tracy, you didn't feed Drew? I'm like, Mom, he just ate. He said you didn't feed him. I'm like, Drew. And he would laugh, and he would get away with a lot from grandma. So this was at the birthday party that I had, and we did the whole tent and everything up top. And my brother came that year and surprised her. She was saying a thank you speech, and my brother surprised her because my older brother lives in Florida. And so, yeah. And this is just some different things we had in New York. They would always come over. Like, we couldn't have a party and just say, Mom, you're not invited, because she would come anyways. And this was one of my dad's birthday. It wasn't a party. It was just, I did cake at the time, so I made a cake. And we just had a little something in the yard. So this is when we were in Belize. I had to cover up my cousin's face for privacy, I guess. And my mom's dancing. And the little outfit I made was a skirt, and I would rip it off and take it off when dancing. My mom made that for me, so I was making a design from when I was a kid. But thanks for watching it, guys, and sharing this moment with me. I miss you, Mom.